Hello guys, welcome back. So I got today's god. We're going to talk about Loki! Exactly. Yay! I've been trying all goddamn day to make this fucking video, and all day something has gone wrong. So it's like Loki helping. Loki best god, Loki help. Actually, it hasn't been Loki. It's been either I've had an allergy attack or something else has happened. It just hasn't played out. And combine that with the fact that I had minor mishaps today, not Loki's fault, and Odin was having a meltdown over me having mishaps that, it's just taken all day to get to something. I know we talk about Loki on a daily basis, but he deserves a new video. He is the most loving and loyal of gods. That said, he's a toddler. He's a total little shit at times, and he's gonna make you want to fucking wring his neck. Anything he can do to push those buttons, he's gonna do. Especially, sometimes he'll just do something absolutely spiteful and you won't know why, and you'll be looking at him and you'll be really hurt, and he'll be like, what? And he's just, sometimes he's spiteful, and sometimes he lashes out at his own people. But, usually if he's lashing out, it's he's hurt over something else, and that's when you have to be tender with him in time, and kind, and talk him out of it. Sometimes he's just being a bitch. You'll learn the difference. I got a rude gesture. Um, but he is a wonderful god to work with. He's nobody I would recommend people work with. I mean, I know everybody sees, like, Loki in this or that or whatever, and they get really attracted to Loki, and then they want to work with him. Or apparently people have told me there are these videos about how sweet and gentle Loki is. I'm like, that's not Loki. I will tell you right now, that's not Loki. I don't know who the fuck they working with, but that ain't Loki. As we say on this channel, he's the kind of god that if you need deep healing, he will tie you behind his car on a gravel road at 3 a.m., tie you up with truck chains, and drag you down the gravel road laughing insanely, because that's the kind of therapy Loki does. He's not very much a hearts, kittens, unicorn kind of deity. He can be infinitely tender. He does have that side to him, but he's also, we're gonna toughen you up. He's a very loving deity, but think of the geographical location he comes from a tough place where only the toughest and strongest people endure the winter. So he's going to give you Loki's estimation of what toughing happens to be. I swear I just got Americans are too soft, but he will toughen his people up. He will make little soldiers out of them. And I'm talking about Loki, not Odin. He will teach you to think on your feet and will teach you to fight for yourself. And he's always testing your boundaries and always coming over me kind of a jerk and like, hey, and like pushing you in the shoulder or something else. Or like, what you doing? And he'll constantly push you to push back, and he wants you to be independent enough that you'll actually throw him out of your life, and you'll get all on your own, and you'll use all the lessons he taught you. Then he's coming right back in. He just wanted to prove his point. He wants you to be independent. Um, I got all the best gods do, because, if something should happen, if for some whatever reason, you and your deity should be separated. The best kind of deity wants you to be able to think on your feet, think on your foxballs if we're talking to Loki, and just be able to get out there and survive on your own until you can get back to them. That's what they want. They want you to be able to take care of yourself. Because remember, the Norse gods went through people coming through and converting people to Christianity, whether you believe that was peaceful or violent. They're used to seeing their people lose their gods, so they want you tough enough and smart enough that if that would happen again, you'll be okay. You'll be able to fight on your own, and you'll have street smarts. He's the god of street smarts. He's the god of not always being entirely honest. We can't steal. Gods forbid you steal something if you are with Loki. Now, if you're starving to death, or you need medication, or it's an absolute emergency, that's one thing. If you're looting or you're stealing stuff or you're doing something wrong because you just know you can get away with it, that's entirely different. Especially if it's something that you damn well know. Like, say you have $1,000 in your pocket. Nobody that watches the channel does, but say you do. I'm getting howls of laughter. In general, people that work with Loki aren't usually too rich. He has a certain type. Say you had $1,000 in your pocket and you walk into a store and you see a $25 radio. I don't know where the hell you're gonna find one for 25, but I'm old. And you totally have $1,000 in your pocket ready to burn, but you don't want to pay for that. And you're justifying it because you got these bills to pay and everything. Keep in mind, you got $1,000 spending money and you pocket this radio because it's like real tiny and shit. And you walk out with it. Well, Loki's gonna make sure the cops get you. That's the first thing he's gonna do. He's the god of go ahead, do the wrong thing. I will make sure you get arrested. It's much to the surprise of people that you'll see a lot of wannabe Lokeans come to try to claim to serve Loki and they'll go around fucking shit up in the community. Loki will be the one that's actually sent out after you. We call him the equalizer and the closer for a reason. He's a fully independent deity, so don't get this wrong, but he's also Odin's #1 hitman. And if Odin don't got time to deal with your shit, you're gonna meet Loki, and you're not gonna be happy about it. And I get this huge delighted grin, like, oh yeah. He very much is, in my experience. He's a totally independent, free-thinking, working deity. That said, he's Odin's fucking hitman, and if, you know, the boss himself don't got time to show up and deal with your shit, Loki will show up and Loki will be fucking pissed off. He had to interrupt his day to show up in your life. So he will show up and deal with it, and then you'll be fucking sorry. You'd be luckier, honestly, in my experience with both of them. You'd be luckier if the old man dealt with you himself. He's not merciful by any means if he's pissed off, but he's quick. Loki likes those Tarantino films where it takes a long time. I think that's Tarantino. He's like, eh. So he's a delightful god. He can scare the shit out of you. He can be very scary. He can be very ambivalent. But he can also be extremely kind. He's a gifted healer. He's a gifted teacher. He's certainly gifted with magic. He's the god of whatever he wants to be the god of. Male, female, no gender at all, every gender he feels like being. If he decides to show up as a dancing unicorn, he's showing up as a dancing unicorn. Loki don't give two fucks about what we want. That said, he loves his people. He's endlessly devoted. He will whine at you and be a pain in the ass, especially once you start feeding him. He will decide he can help you shop, he can help you pick out what you're eating for the day. He will feel free once you like establish communication with him. He will feel free to talk nonstop all day long. You won't need anyone else in your life ever again once you meet Loki because he's very rarely quiet. And if he's quiet, it's because he's toddling off and finding his own adventure. So it behooves you to keep him amused. You don't have to do it 24/7. But the two scariest words in the English language, and you will learn this, are I'm bored. Because he's already thinking of the things he could play with and they're important to you and they break. That's all I can advise you about. But he is a real sweetheart. He kept me home today. Today was voting day, but it was cold enough that I kept like thinking it was gonna snow. But I just like got hit with a wall of tired after like the last couple weeks. And he decided you're staying home. Odin decided I was staying home too, but he decided I'm staying home. And Loki can give good advice, but you gotta be willing to follow it. If you don't follow it, he'll just smile at you. And sometimes he will trick you for your own good, and sometimes he will be extremely mean out of nowhere, and he will break your heart, and he will say something devastating to you, and he'll have you crying on the floor in hysterics. 2 weeks later, you'll realize he was teaching you a lesson. He didn't mean it at all, but he needed to set you up to take that emotional pain. He is not the easiest god to work with, especially if you get smitten with him. His favorite trick is, and you will fall for it every fucking time, I never loved you. I don't love you. I hate you. You're disgusting. Or something along those lines. I don't love you. Get away from me. I never loved you. I lied. He will say that because he's trying to do something and work some deep shit out of you, but at the time he's doing it, it's like, and you're going to all the other gods and goes, and they're like, Jesus, Loki, couldn't you pick anything easier to do? And he's like, what? He'll hurt his people to move them forward. So will Odin, which is why sometimes I see like I'm on the verge of a nervous breakdown because I have two of them. They're kind of like twins. One's just older and meaner, and you can try to figure out which one that is, because sometimes I wonder. He's very inventive though, and he loves his people. He's very childlike. He likes to play, he likes candy, he likes sweet things. And just because he's Loki, he can prove everything I said in this video wrong because he feels like it. And I don't fucking know him, and I'll tell him what to do. You don't know me, woman. Stockholm. Because he's Loki. He's chaos, and he's also order because you're gonna get your fucking life together. And he's all the horrible sounds I hear out there that sound like people are crashing their cars. So he's very much the god of if you're not going to pay attention, he's going to see, he's not trying to be an asshole. He's not, but he's the god I like to call him of karma. He's the god of natural consequences where especially if you knew better, he's the god of natural consequences. But and that's just like scratching like the tip of the iceberg with Loki because, he's the god of absolutely everything. He can be the god of healing, he can be the god of fertility. He's never listed as it's always Thor or something, but if Loki decides your plants are going to grow or something else is going to fucking grow, it's going to be like Day of the Triffids. If Loki decides he wants to get into it and gets his little fox paw into the magic or essence of it, he's gonna do whatever Loki wants to do. I'm not sure now if the quarters I've been finding, because I found one in the wash today, and it was like right on the rim of the inside of my dryer, actually, is where it was. And one of the guys was like, "Oh, that must have just been in your pocket." I'm like, "No, I never have enough money to just have random quarters in my pocket." I'm like, I don't know where the hell that came from, but it was one of you, so thank you. And I know it was either Odin or Loki. I thought it was Odin with the quarters, but Loki is the one that likes card tricks and cheap magic and, stuff that he would entertain kids with, though he does overlap with Odin on that. He loves children. He fucking is insane about children. He loves trick-or-treaters. If he can manifest physically at Halloween and hug every trick-or-treater and play with them for 4 hours and kidnap them because he loves children in a good way, their parents would never see them again. I swear, like the Pied Piper of Hamelin, I swear that's a Loki story. Like, he comes, he does what you need him to do, and you won't, Pam is like, "Great, I'm taking your fucking kids because I love children. I'll be a better parent than you were. Just ask my children." And he steals your kids. So I'm like, yeah, that sounds like Loki. I'm getting this look like he isn't sure if I mean that as an insult or compliment. But is a very dedicated family man. Yes, he will, chat up everyone and everything. Some people say, including rocks and trees, but he's a very dedicated family man. He loves his children. He loves Fenrir. He loves Hel. He loves Jorgamander. He loves the kids, the twins. He loves I'm gonna say the wrong goddess's name and get something thrown at me. He loves Angrboda and he loves Segan and he loves anyone else that he's been linked to, and he has been linked to everybody. And I mean everybody, doesn't matter if it's a goddess or god, there's some UPG out there, and he's like, that was bored. Drunk? Well, I don't know. I'm kidding, my brother does magic mushrooms, what do you want? So that's the kind of smart-ass god he is. I think I'll probably wrap it up around there, but he's very playful. That's why we do a lot of the videos and we do a lot of the VR and everything. He does like to play, but he's like a child. It's terrifying. If you've dealt with children, you can start like the most expensive game or like the most expensive toy or something else, and you hope they're going to love it. And if he doesn't love it, he's not even going to pretend. He'll just wander off like right in the middle of a game or right in the middle of seeing a toy, or by the time you get the toy, I don't want it. Walk away and doesn't want it. He gets bored of stuff. He used to love this Furby rocker over here, and he loved her and adored her, and she was the most precious thing ever. Don't want her anymore. In fact, he told me I could throw her away, and I'm like, no. You got that pain in the ass thing. I had to send the whole way to Australia for it. You got it. You don't want it anymore. So, before you buy him an expensive ass piece of equipment, just be aware that he loves you to death and the moon and back, but he seems to have no concept of money or bills or taxes. It's like Loki lives off in this kind of new agey abundant blessings rule. So make sure you have the money for something if he asks you. Same thing with Odin. They both seem to not be able to balance a checkbook. That's why you would probably like to work with Thor or Sigyn or Frigga. Also, if you work with Loki, because he is really fucking bad with money. I go, no, I'm not. Yeah, you are, because most of the time you steal stuff in the stories. That's why. Oh, ah. He's good. He's a loving God. He's not a god of riches. I know there are people that will say he'll give you riches and everything. I've never fucking seen it. I've never seen anybody start working with Loki and become a millionaire. I'm not saying it won't ever happen. I'm just saying if you got involved with Loki because you think you're going to win the lottery or end up living on an island, and that's our running joke, or, you know, you're going to get a mansion or strike oil on your land, please do not do that. Don't do that with any deity, let alone him. Prosperity gospel is primarily for the Christians because they truly and literally believe their God will do that someday. Loki ain't gonna fucking do it. There could actually be a diamond mine 5 inches below your house and you would never know, and he would find it hilarious. And the day you die and you're in the afterworld, he'll go, "Hey, did you know there was a diamond mine below your house? It was fucking awesome. Every day I'd watch you sitting there, and there was this diamond mine right below your house." And you'll be like, "Loki, you're such a jerk. You never needed it." So I'm getting like these death glares, but it's true. He's the kind of god that would kind of amuse the hell out of him because he would know you didn't need it. What you need and what Loki thinks you need are two different things. You might think you need 5 times the money and everything you need now, which is kind of like what I think. But Loki's like, you're fucking surviving, you're paying the bills, and you're eating. Stop your whining. So he's not a god of luxury. He's not. If you want a god of luxury, he is not your god. He's very much a we are a humble people. That's the speech I always get. So, if you guys like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe. I'm getting a look. But he is a wonderful god. He's a hearth god. He's a god. Excuse me. He's a god of cooking. He's a god of food. He's a god of medicine. Whatever else he wants to be a god of, magic, everything else. But he's not a god of luxury, and I can't say that enough because I think a lot of people meaning well big Loki up, and they make it sound like Loki's going to get you a penthouse and $1 million and a Caribbean cruise. He loves you dearly, but that's not in his wheelhouse. I'm not saying he won't be capable, but it's just not fucking coming. As long as you can understand that and love him for who he is and not what he can give you, that would be my most important advice with him. And, you know, just be ready. He's going to test those borders and he's going to keep testing them. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I think Loki may be done with me forever, but you know, he knows I'm not gonna sugarcoat things, and he's a fucking handful. He can make you cry, he can make you angry, and he's kind of, I think that's why a lot of people stop dealing with him, because I think people come into dealing with Loki and he's charming, he's loving, and he's cute, and you think you're gonna have this grand adventure, and you are. But becoming rich and famous is not going to become part of that thing. And if that's all you were coming in for, and there's nothing wrong with that if you're looking out for yourself, but it's not coming. It's not coming. I'm just saying that because, you know, I think a lot of people do big Loki up, like I said, and it feels like a timely warning. I don't know why, but people are like, Loki's gonna give me everything. No, he's not. Most gods aren't. I don't even think the Christian God is, but you know, unfortunately, that's the mythos he has around him. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and I'm just getting looks. I'm trying to think if I forgot anything. I got the kids. I got everything else. Okay. I don't know. I feel like I'm padding off the video at this point. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.